Hello guys, how are you? Welcome back to SEDA College Online for one more class. I hope everyone is tuned in today to enjoy one more lesson. And please tell me if you enjoy the classes, which classes you enjoy, etc. I really want to know, okay? So, let's get started today. If you were here in the previous class, you remember that we talked a little bit about music. So today we'll follow through this topic. We'll see a reading and then we'll continue with some grammar as well. Of course, we'll start with my usual question. How do you feel today? Tell me in the comments and in the live section. I really want to know how you are, okay? And I hope that I will make you feel better with our topic today because it is about music and the psychology of music, how listening to music can have psychological benefits, which is something that I think might be really useful, but not only in this specific period of time, but in general. So I have this article which I will show you. But first, there are some questions that I want you to answer in the live chat or the comment section. Do you listen to background music? Just type yes or no. When you're walking, when you're commuting, when you're studying, when you're doing housework, do you listen to background music? So if yes, I have this article from verywellmind.com that can give you the benefits of listening to music as a background, as it can improve your cognitive performance. Okay, so let's read together. Research suggests that background music, or music that is played while the listener is primarily focused on another activity, can improve performance on cognitive tasks in older adults. So the next time you are working on a task, consider turning on a little music in the background if you're looking for a boost in your mental performance. Consider choosing instrumental tracks rather than those with complex lyrics, which might end up being more distracting. So if you don't already do that, start doing it. Start playing some background music throughout the day, I say. My next question is, do you listen to slow music while eating? Yes or no? Type in the comments. Me personally, I don't really listen to music while I'm eating most of the times. Most of the times I watch something, but I think it could be a good idea actually. And let's see why. Because music might help you eat less. Yes, that's true. And let's see what the surveys, the research says. One of the most surprising psychological benefits of music is that it might be a helpful weight loss tool. If you're trying to lose weight, listening to mellow music and dimming the lights might help you achieve your goals. So mellow music, guys, is slow music, okay? And dimming the lights means lowering them, turning off maybe the basic lights, just keeping on smaller lights, etc. And you might try putting this into practice by playing soft music at home while you eat dinner. Try that. By creating a relaxing setting, you may be more likely to eat slowly and therefore feel fuller sooner. So that's a good idea. If you're eating a lot these last few days or weeks, try that and tell me if it works next time, okay? Try putting on some soft music, dim the lights, and see if it will help you eat less. My next question is, do you listen to slow music while studying? I know that many people do that, others may find it a bit distracting, but let's see the benefits. It can really improve your memory. Lots of students enjoy listening to music while they study. But is that such a great idea? Some feel like listening to their favorite music as they study improves memory, while others contend it simply serves as a pleasant distraction. One study found that musically trained students tended to perform better on learning tests when they listened to neutral music, possibly because this type of music was less distracting and easier to ignore. Musically naive students, naive means that maybe they don't have a lot of knowledge on music, on the other hand, learned better when listening to positive music, possibly because the songs elicited more positive emotions without interfering with memory formation. So you can try both and see which one works for you. And I have something specifically for you here, guys, because another study found that participants learning a new language like you showed improvement in their knowledge and abilities when they practiced singing new words and phrases versus just regular speaking or rhythmic speaking. So that's something that you can try next time if you are not already doing it. Go online, find your favorite songs, try to sing them. If you see a phrase or a word that you don't know, you can learn it. Maybe you can remember it better, of course. So, while music may have an effect on memory, results may vary depending on the individual. If you tend to find yourself distracted by music, you may be better off learning in silence or with neutral tracks playing in the background. Again, you can try that, but if you're a person that finds it helpful, it's a good idea. And I have here my last question. Do you listen to music to improve your mood when you feel a bit down? Do you play maybe some happier or more energetic songs? I usually do that. And let's see what benefits it can have. Of course, it can improve your mood. Another of the science-backed benefits of music is that it just might make you happier. In one examination of the reasons why people listen to music, researchers discovered that music played an important role in relating arousal and mood. Another study found that intentionally trying to boost moods by listening to positive music could have an impact within 2 weeks. Some participants were instructed to purposefully attempt to improve their mood by listening to positive music each day for 2 weeks. When they were later asked to describe their own levels of happiness, those who had intentionally tried to improve their moods reported feeling happier after just 2 weeks. So, if you're doing it, keep doing it. Playing positive music can really improve your mood. And if you're doing this long term, in the end, it can really help you. Okay? So, music can really, really make a difference if you include it in your day. I want you to tell me in the comments as well if you agree with that, with these views, if you are already using music in one or another way in your everyday life to help you, and generally, what is your relationship with music? And in order to move on, I have here some grammar focus from the text that we already saw. Okay, I'm not telling you the grammar focus yet, but you will find it on your own. I have underlined a few phrases from the excerpts of the text that we saw. So take a look at that, these 3 sentences. Consider turning on a little music. Consider choosing instrumental tracks. End up being. So I don't know if you see a pattern here. Consider turning, consider choosing, end up being. All the three sentences that we have here include a gerund. Turning, choosing, being. So today we will talk about gerunds and infinitives, but we will focus on verbs that are usually followed by gerunds or infinitives. One example here is the verb consider. As you can see in both examples, consider is followed by a gerund. Okay. I consider doing something. Consider turning, consider choosing. And another category is phrasal verbs. All phrasal verbs need a gerund. If you want to continue with the verb, it's not gonna be an infinitive, it's gonna be a gerund. Okay, I end up doing something. Of course, here you know that this is something that is learned through practice and memory. Okay, so the only thing you can really do is try to read more, see how the words are used, and memorize them. Let's see a few more. I want you to take a very good look at these two examples particularly. Okay. If you're trying to lose weight, try putting this into practice. Now here I can see something strange. Although the verb, the basic verb is the same, it's try, in the first sentence, try is followed by infinitive. In the second sentence, try is followed by gerund. So which one is the correct one? Well, both of them are correct here, but they have a different meaning. In the first sentence, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, you have the meaning make an effort. You're making an effort to lose weight. So if you have this meaning, you need infinitive. I try to learn English. I try to play a musical instrument. I try to talk to my friends regularly. So I make an effort to do all that. But if you use a gerund, try putting this into practice. You are talking about a different solution to a problem that you have. Okay? For example, if you feel sick, I could tell you, try taking some medicine, or try sleeping a bit. Try drinking some hot tea. So these are a few of my possible solutions. Try doing one of them. Now we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail later, so hang on. Here you see a few more verbs: enjoy, feel like, and tend. Enjoy is always followed by a gerund. I enjoy listening to music. Feel like is also followed by a gerund. I feel like listening to music. And tend is followed by infinitive. Students tended to perform better. So I'm just giving you a few examples here of verbs that you can remember, and then we will see the categories too, so you can have a clearer idea. In that case, we have practice and tend again. Practice is followed by a gerund. I practice doing something. I practice singing. I practice writing. I practice exercising. And tend again one more time is followed by infinitive. I tend to find myself distracted by music. And in the last case, again we have try with infinitive. Remember, this means that you are making an effort, okay? I am trying to boost moods. I'm making an effort to change my mood. Then instruct is followed by object and infinitive. I instruct you to do something. Okay? I instruct my students to practice. Attempt. Attempt, you know that the meaning is similar to try, so it is used with infinitive. It's making an effort again. As you can see here, attempt to improve their mood. And ask, similar case, I ask you to do something. Okay, I ask you to describe something. So, here, in order to give you a clearer idea of which verbs are followed by gerund and which verbs are followed by infinitive, I have a list. You see that some of the verbs are missing. You can see them in the yellow box. So your task is to put the verbs in the correct category. You can start and you can write it in the comments or in the live chat. For example, you can write gerund and give me the 4 verbs. Then infinitive with to, give me the 3 verbs. Infinitive without to, give me the last 2 verbs. And when you finish that, it's a good opportunity for you to take a good look at this table. Of course, I don't have here all the verbs that are followed by gerund or infinitive, but I have very common verbs that you are more likely to read somewhere or listen to somewhere more often. So keep them in mind. Try to memorize a few of them. I know that by now you should at least unconsciously remember a few of them, but it's a good idea to try focusing a little bit more consciously on them too. So you see which verbs we already have. You can keep on thinking and writing your answers in the live chat. And you see we already have the verbs admit, deny, mind, regret, practice, and spend that are followed by infinitive. Okay, I admit doing something. I admit stealing the money. Deny. I deny lying. Mind, like I don't mind. Okay, I don't have a problem. I don't mind helping you. It's fine. Regret, we talked about that too in last class, if you remember. Okay, I regret not forgiving more, etc. And again, you can see the verbs that are usually followed by infinitive with to. I agree to do something, I choose to do something, learn, manage, offer, promise, teach, intend. And our last category, infinitives without to. Sometimes I know this can be confusing. A lot of times I see students writing to, I must to do something. But just remember, you just need a simple infinitive. Can do, may do, might, must, should do. Alright, so let's take a look together, guys, at the answers and see how you did, if you matched the verbs correctly. So, with gerund, we have avoid, imagine, mind, and suggest. Okay. I avoid doing something. I imagine, for example, I imagine playing the guitar. I don't play the guitar, but I imagine doing that. I suggest going out today. Decide, expect, and refuse are always followed by infinitive with to. I decided to do something. I expect you to do something for me. I refuse to do that. And then we have had better. Remember, had better means that it's a good idea. You had better wear your jacket. It's a good idea to wear your jacket. And you don't need to here. The same with would rather. Remember, this is similar to prefer. Okay? I would rather do that. I would rather drink some coffee. So again, you don't use to with these expressions. Remember the try that we saw before, where we had two different ways to use it with gerund and infinitive. So what we're going to do now is see a few more special cases, a few more verbs. We have 4 verbs that I want to focus on. The first one is remember. Look at these 2 sentences. The first one has remember followed by infinitive. The second one is followed by gerund. I didn't remember to buy some milk. I can still remember meeting him for the first time. Take a look and try to understand what is the difference in meaning. I will give you some help in a little bit. I will give you some potential meanings to match, but try to think about it on your own as well. And if you have any ideas, like what's the difference between remember plus infinitive and remember plus gerund, you can write it in the comments, okay? The next verb I want to focus on is forget. I always forget to charge my phone. I will never forget going to Paris. Now, if you make a connection with remember, the meaning of remember plus infinitive and forget plus infinitive, the idea is exactly the same. And this is true for remember plus gerund or forget plus gerund. So the main idea for both verbs is the same. The explanation of why we use gerund and why we use infinitive is exactly the same. Our next verb is try. We have already talked about that, but let's see if you remember it. Why don't you try exercising? Your back might feel better. I try to exercise every day, but sometimes it's hard. So if you remember the difference, write it now in the comments. I want to see if you remember. And need. I need to go to the supermarket. Or the house needs cleaning. So you see the first one has infinitive, the second one a gerund. You might have thought of a few ideas by now, but in order to help you, I will give you a few potential meanings for each case. You see that we have 8 sentences and just 6 explanations. This is because, as we said, remember and forget have the same explanations, okay? So I'll give you a minute to match it and you can write it in the comments. For example, remember plus infinitive, or you can write remember to buy. What does it mean? Does it mean D, to make an effort? Does it mean A, memory? Is it F, a possible solution to a problem? Okay, so you see your options here. You have memory, one possibility, a memory in the past, necessity to do something, a checklist, like the things I have to do, to make an effort, necessity for something to be done, or passive use. So B and E you see are similar, but in E we want the passive use, like passive voice. This is done by someone. And F, possible solution to a problem. So let's take a look at that. I'll give you a minute to think about it, okay? And it's a good idea to know these special cases because all these 4 verbs are very much used in both ways, with gerunds and infinitives. They're very, very common. And you saw, for example, that in my text, in my article, which was an authentic article, you had try used at least 4 times with both gerunds and infinitives. So it's something that you see very often in authentic materials, and you can listen many people very often using it with both ways. Okay, so let's take a look together and see the meanings. For remember, I didn't remember to buy milk. Now this is your checklist, okay? I have a thing on my checklist to buy milk, but I don't remember, I forgot, okay? So I'll just put this here because it's the same, okay? I didn't remember, I forgot to do that, so I didn't cross it off my checklist, okay? And you see that the gerund is used when you're talking about a past memory. You're trying to remember something from your past. Like, I can still remember meeting him for the first time. Okay? I will never forget going to Paris. So this is a memory from your past that will never leave your mind. With try, we already talked about it, okay? The first one is a possible solution to a problem. Does your back hurt? Try exercising. This is one possible solution to feel better. And I try to exercise, okay? I make an effort to exercise every day, but sometimes it's hard. And the last one, you see that the infinitive is used for an active sentence and the gerund replaces a passive sentence. A synonym could be for the last one, could be the house needs to be cleaned by someone. So here you replace the passive form to be cleaned with cleaning. The house needs cleaning. So let's practice a little bit, see if you can remember, okay, if you have a good memory. I have 8 sentences for you. I have in bold the verb that you need to focus on and try to remember what do we need after avoid. Okay, is it eating? Is it to eat? Or is it infinitive without to, avoid, eat? So you have 3 options, okay? Gerund, infinitive with to, infinitive without to. I'll read the sentence with you as well, and you can write the answers in the comments and the live chat as we go on, okay? You need to avoid eat fatty food. We didn't expect the situation be so serious. If it's just a light headache, why don't you try take some paracetamol before calling the doctor? I spend a lot of time cook lately. I really enjoy it. I promise call you every day and let you know how I'm doing. I would rather be alone right now, but that's impossible. How is Jim? Do you remember talk to him lately? I always manage overcome my problems. So let's see if you have a good memory. I'll just give you a minute to go through it and write the answers, and then we'll take a look together. And with the verbs try and remember, it is very, very important to think of what we said before, okay? So, for example, in number 3, are we talking about a possible solution to a problem or making an effort? Or in number 7, are we talking about a checklist, things we need to do, or a memory from the past? So let's start taking a look one by one. You can keep writing your answers as we go on, okay? Avoid always needs gerund. Avoid eating fatty food. Expect always infinitive. I expect the situation to be. Now in this case we have a possible solution. You have a headache. Why don't you try taking some paracetamol? And if this doesn't work, maybe you should try sleeping. If this doesn't work, maybe you should try calling the doctor. I spend a lot of time cooking. Spend is always followed by gerund, okay? I spend a lot of time doing something. Promise plus infinitive. I promise to call you every day. Now, pay attention. Would rather needs infinitive without to. Remember that had better and would rather do not need to. I'd rather be alone right now. Now in this case, we need the gerund because I'm talking about a memory. I'm asking you if you can remember a moment in the past that you talked to Jim. Okay? Do you remember talking to him yesterday? Okay. And the last one, I always manage to overcome my problem. So manage needs infinitive. Alright guys, so I know it was an overload of information today. And the truth is that gerunds and infinitives are an area of the language that needs a lot of practice from you as well, a lot of individual practice. And the only way to really start remembering it is to read a lot and listen to a lot of learning material, focusing on how the words are used. The more you are exposed, the easier it will be for you to remember. But of course, practicing is always good, okay? Miracles don't happen overnight. So don't feel, I don't know, a little bit demotivated because of gerunds and infinitives, but try to make the extra effort. So that's what we talked about, and of course we did the reading for psychological benefits of music. Okay, and that was the end of our class for today, guys. I want you to tell me one thing that you remember from today's class, or at least one verb that you remember, and what is it followed by, gerund or infinitive. I hope I didn't tire you a lot, okay? If I did, you can just relax now. But I will be waiting for you to be here in the next class. Alright, guys? Thank you very much and have a nice rest of the day. Bye!